Say you don't like it, no. No, you don't like it. Let me read out the thing. Let me read. Say you don't like it, no. No, you don't like it. Let me rewrite the thing. Let me read. Say you don't like it, no. No, you don't like it. Let me rewrite the thing. Let me read. Say you don't like it. No, you don't like it, no. Let me rewrite the thing. Let me in.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Rewriter's Room. We are the men with the pen. We are the fortuitous gentlemen with the foresight. I am your host, one-third of your host, rather, the John Cena of journalism, the Brock Lesnar of broadcasting, the Roman Reigns of rhetoric, and the Paul Heyman of podcasting, Armand Sadler. You know I don't do this show alone. My fellas are here. CC, how you doing, bro?
What is good? What is good? It's CC, best rapper and producer in the whole wide world. God body, because I consume healthy products and do towel curls. Benevolent, servant to the earth, and philanthropist. And every phrase I say is a gem like amethyst. You could put any nigga next to me, and dope ass women gonna be like, "Who the fuck man is this?" I may talk a lot, but I only got one thing to say: love yourself and keep going. You are the world, so give all you can. Take care of your body, your people, and your land. Where my nigga Chan?
I know a lot of you on the interwebs speak illy of NXT 2.0. But us here in the mid card, we just want you to know that it's here. You're never getting rid of NXT 2.0. Braun Breaker serving as our Intercontinental Champion. LA Knight serving as our United States Champion. It's just so funny how people act like something was bad, but that's where all your faves are at. That's where all your faves came from, bro. Like, think about the mid card right now. Think about that shit, bro. Braun Breaker, Mr. NXT 2.0, if I dare say. It's either like him, Mello, or Trick at this point. Like,
Dragunov. And
so I'm
granted,
saying, bro.
Dragunov
Free
started
brothers.
granted,
Yeah.
Dragunov started it in UK, but he had a run in 2.0. Like he
Even,
helped make Trick who he is.
bro, even Gacy. Gacy's in
JC,
Wyatt Sicks,
yeah.
bro.
Mhm.
That's major push. Not to say he's like gotten there yet, but like that's not nothing, bro. There's a lot of people not getting that kind of TV time. So shout out to NXT 2.0, bro. The mid card
Yeah.
recognizes your greatness, bro. The mid card sees the fruits of your labor. I will say, which I've said many times before, the current NXT belts still have the color splash of 2.0, and I kind of feel like they should get rid of that since they got rid of that and all the other branding. But other than that, shout out to Roxanne. Shout out to all ego Ethan Page, bro.
That boy's lit, man. Love me some all ego. Love
Shout
me
out to
some
you,
all
man.
ego, bro.
A lot of niggas do believe, but a lot of niggas ain't been NXT champion, bro. They can never take that away from you, dog. So shout out to you.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, I was gonna say when you mentioned Braun Breaker, Midcard Mafia got quite a steal in Braun Breaker. I mean, you guys lost Gunther and you added Braun. That's not bad at all. That's
We don't
that's
rebuild, we
like,
reload, man. We reload over here, bro. That's what we're doing.
bro, that's like losing Peyton Manning and then adding Andrew Luck. Like y'all are lit. Yeah, y'all lit right now. That's a pretty damn good situation. I don't know how long you're gonna have them, but while you got them, live it up and have a
Here for a
blast.
good time, not a long time. We understand what we both parties understand what this is. We
Absolutely.
it's understood. What's understood doesn't have to be explained. I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys do that, but
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys are aware that you are the pipeline for the future champions. I mean, I think we're all waiting for Sami Zayn to have his moment as a world champion. You look at pretty much all the world champions, like a lot of them held mid card titles. So, you guys have been great at what you do. Speaking of people who are great at what they do, of course, we want to make sure that you all tap into the entirety of the A Show network, the A Show featuring J5 and Meals, which is out on Patreon every Tuesday, public every Wednesday. The War Report, I believe Quan is making his return soon. They drop Patreon on Thursdays, public on Fridays. And of course, us, you're tapped in with us because you are smart people. Now, as you know, this season we are dedicating to the Bloodline, all season, taking you through the entire monumental 4-year run. And this episode is going to focus on a contentious period in that time, depending on who you were and where you stood on things. And I know that my feelings in 2020 compared to my feelings now are different. And we're going to get into that a little later. But first, we're going to jump into some trivia based around the guy who we're going to be talking about primarily today, in addition to Roman Reigns. I will be leading it today. So this is another week that my streak continues. I wish that I was keeping score to know who between you two is in the lead, but you know what? One day I'll go back through the episodes and check the scores to see our overall power rankings. But gentlemen, are you ready for this very elaborate trivia game that I have prepared for you?
Let's get it rocking.
Beto.
Okay, so there are 3 possible points for this question. Who was in the match when Kevin Owens won his only world title?
Seth Rollins
That's
and
one. Yep.
Triple H.
Triple H was not in the match.
Roman
Finn
Reigns.
Balor.
Roman Reigns was in the
Roman
match.
Reigns.
Yes. So there's one more person. You guys might not get this one. It's a very Vince choice at the time. So
Was it Elias?
it was not Elias. No, I don't even think he was on the roster at this point.
EC3.
It was not EC3. No.
Dolph Ziggler.
Braun-
No, not Dolph
Braun
Ziggler.
Strowman.
No and no.
Oh my!
Randy
trying to-
Orton.
Not Randy Orton. No.
This is Raw. This
Bobby
Yes.
is
Lashley.
Not Bobby
bullshit
Lashley.
era.
But Bobby Lashley hadn't even returned yet.
Oh yeah.
This was like
Oh, yeah, it was
August
14, right?
2016.
2016. Okay.
All Raw superstars.
Was it Big Cass?
Holy shit! Yes, it was.
Why?
Because this is no funny shit. This is when I started watching wrestling again because I was
Mhm.
teaching and I wanted to show my students Royal Rumble. So I got the WWE Network and it was 2016. And I remember this is when they tried to make Big Cass a thing with that like
Yeah.
the cage match with it. They tried it like they really
Yeah.
did. Big Cass.
Yeah. And this is like before he turned on Enzo. So he was still in the tag team with Enzo Amore, but he got this opportunity to be in this world universal title match with Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Kevin Owens. He was the first one eliminated too.
I mean,
funny
yeah.
enough.
That's so
like
funny.
it makes sense, but it was such a Vince thing to try to be like, hey, you guys know him as this guy who raps with Enzo Amore, but he's also going to be in this world title match. Wow. Of course CC would guess that. I'm very not shocked at that. So CC's currently up. I'm sorry, Chan is up 2-1. So question 2. There are 3 possible points for this one as well. After losing the Universal title, Kevin Owens chased another title held by another man, and they had a match for that title at WrestleMania 33. Who did he face? For what title? And what body part was instrumental in him winning the match?
John Cena for the US title. I don't know.
So US title is correct. John Cena's wrong.
Oh, I remember this.
Was it not Baron Corbin? Was it
No.
The Miz?
It was not the Miz.
No. Wait, Roman didn't have it, did he?
No.
No.
Dean
wait.
Ambrose?
This person beat Roman for that title. It was not Dean Ambrose, no. Dean was the Intercontinental champion at this time.
Shinsuke Nakamura?
Not Shinsuke. I don't think he was on the main roster yet. Yeah, he was.
AJ Styles?
Not AJ Styles either. He faced Shane McMahon at that WrestleMania.
I'm trying to think of this graphic. Who was Kevin Owens next to? Because I love me some KO Mania.
You
Dolph
got to
Ziggler?
think. You have to think
I'm just gonna
about
keep
that.
guessing it.
Not Dolph. You got to think about that Universal title run and what was something that was
Jericho?
a very Chris Jericho. There you go.
Yes, because they were champions together. Yes.
This led to the whole Festival of
Festival of
Friendship
Friendship.
segment.
Yes.
Now, in the match, what body part was instrumental in Kevin Owens winning the match?
Jericho's knee or something?
Not Jericho's knee, no.
I'm gonna say his
Kevin Owens' elbow?
Kevin Owens is it's something of Kevin Owens.
Kevin
but it's not his
Owens' knee?
elbow. Not his knee, no.
Kevin Owens' belly?
Not his best.
Oh my gosh.
It had to be said. Kevin Owens' head. Like headbutt.
Not his head, no.
His
Kevin
shoulder.
Owens.
Huh?
His shoulders.
Not his shoulders
don't know.
either.
Kevin Owens' butt?
Not his butt
Kevin Owens'
He's-
foot?
Not his foot. No.
What did we guess? His leg?
This is like I'd be like
his
Kevin Owens'
arm?
eye or something. Yeah, like Kevin Owens'
Not-
ear.
Not
His
not
nose?
his ear, not his eye, not his nose.
Kevin Owens' thumb. Kevin Owens' hand.
Finger.
Your
wrist.
finger.
Finger.
There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
What was
I'm playing fucking this is the neck bone is connected to the shoulder bone.
He caught a code breaker and was near the ropes, but he was like super far. Jericho pinned him, seemed like he was gonna win. KO put his finger on the bottom rope and ended
Oh
up,
yes, and I remember he did it so nonchalantly. Yes.
Yeah. Jericho's pissed. Jericho wrote Kevin Owens' finger on the list.
Kevin Owens has fun mid card matches. I'll give him that.
Yeah,
Like when
he's
especially when he was
fantastic.
doing his heel bag, like it was a good time.
He's fantastic. He's fantastic. Finally. This one has multiple chances. Multiple chances to score points. CC is currently up 4-2, but this is anyone's game at this point. So, Kevin Owens has competed in 2 tag team matches at WrestleMania. What were the WrestleManias? Who were his partners? And who were his opponents at those WrestleManias? And you get bonus points if you can name the stakes.
WrestleMania 40 with Sammy against Usos.
It was not WrestleMania 40.
39.
It was 39. It was
Sorry.
Ghost Hollywood.
39 is correct. Yeah.
He said it was Samuel Zayn versus the Usos.
And the other tag match.
Didn't he compete? I feel like this was one of the bullshit ones with like Shane McMahon or some shit like that.
This sounds like that.
Shane was one person. Yep.
Yeah. It was like Shane. It was him, not Kurt Angle. No.
Who was Kurt tagged with Triple H again?
Right.
No,
that's
with
Ronda
Ronda against the McMahon, Stephanie and Triple H.
This isn't him. Braun Strowman wasn't in this match, right?
No, Braun Strowman team with Nicholas for the tag titles.
Oh my God, that was some bullshit. Hey, this was really fucking silly for that. Like, come on, bro, for real. Like, real child, and then like didn't even make the storyline fun. Like, you could have had some fun if you actually would have booked a kid. And Braun was winning the matches single-handedly. God,
they quite literally gave up the titles the very next night. It pissed me off.
Raw. It was so stupid. Yep. Let's see. Back to the question. Not Stone Cold.
Nah, not Stone Cold.
No. And yeah, I'm thinking Roman was with Undertaker. Who was Kevin Owens with?
It was a superstar who returned to action after some time away, after 4 years of not wrestling. He spent some time working.
Kevin Owens with Daniel Bryan.
So it was Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan. Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan versus Kevin Owens and someone.
Who was Kevin Owens fucking around with back then? AJ Styles? No,
not AJ Styles.
It was dumber than that. Not the Biggest Show. Oh, who's a big dumb guy? Baron Corbin?
Not Baron Corbin.
I can't guess this one. This is a tough one. I'm trying to think. Shane.
This
is that New Orleans WrestleMania too. I see it.
Yes. Which number was that?
That one was probably
37, right?
36?
Not 37. 37 was Tampa, 36 was Pandemic.
34?
Okay, then 38.
It was 34, yeah.
34. Good call.
CC's one, by the way, but still, if you want to try to guess, or I can just tell you.
No, wait, hold on a second.
Give me one more guess.
They were WrestleMania 34, right? Okay.
Yeah. It was Kevin Owens and someone versus Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan.
Oh, and it had that I see the graphic because it was like they were kind of grayed out, but it was like the green and gold. Oh, who was in that graphic with you, Kevin?
It's like kind of a trick question, but not really a trick question. But it's also one that you guys are thinking too hard about, but not.
Is it Sami Zayn again?
It is Sami Zayn.
I thought it was Sami Zayn because I was like, is that too easy?
This was when KO and Sammy were just like renegades, just beating up Shane McMahon. They beat the fuck out of Daniel Bryan. Bryan announced he
Yes.
returned to
He was
action.
GM. Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes. The
yeah, yeah,
cardigans. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. This is pre-COVID. This is back when they'd let you do anything in SmackDown. They gave him
yeah.
that silly belt. You remember that? That
Oh,
silly little turquoise belt, the
yeah,
Earth belt.
yeah, yeah, nuts times, nuts times. But our victor for this trivia was CC. And so we had a little warm up with some Kevin Owens related trivia because we were getting into, and I've said this maybe the last few episodes, because every chapter of the Bloodline story is pretty important, except for like the Cesaro one. Even though that was kind of pivotal in Jimmy Uso returning and joining the family, but
Also,
this
people need to learn that lesson. They need to give up the dream. And I think we finally gave up the dream after that match. And I think that was important about Cesaro.
I do recall being someone who was like, "Yo, Cesaro could win Money in the Bank that year," and chanting directly said, "Yeah, y'all not tired of this?
Hurting your own feelings.
Yeah, I'm not tired of wanting more for Cesaro than
Never gonna
the
happen.
company wants for him." Like, hey, man, you was right. But to these 2 months of Roman feuding with Kevin Owens, which kind of spilled out from the Survivor Series match. Jay and KO having some tension. KO beats the fuck out of Jey Uso and then calls out Roman. Like I remember this episode so vividly. Like he's like, "Hey Roman!" Like he's like yelling into the camera. Then Roman like beats his ass backstage, and like that's when he cuts to that elite promo where he's like, "I'm your tribal chief. I put the food on the table," and then he like grabs a chair and hits him and shit. But they have that TLC match at TLC 2020. Thankfully, the last time that they did that damn PLE. Roman successfully retains through help from Jey Uso. They run it back in a steel cage that Friday. Roman wins again. Jey Uso handcuffs KO to the cage. I remember him being like, "Oh, you're such a bitch," like just cursing the fuck out of Roman because like, and to speak on 2020 Armand, and I remember like J5 felt the same, and there were some people who felt the same as me. We all really thought like, "Yo, KO should win this title at some point from Roman." Like this should happen, and this was long before we saw like, "Oh nah, they about to give this nigga a 1,000+ day reign." Like we were like, "Yo, it'd be cool if KO won it. Like Roman could win it right back, but like
How
this
silly we
nigga,
sounded back then. It's like,
right,
oh
right.
no, it could happen, bro. No, he could
You
lose.
you want to know what it was? We were so conditioned to Vince booking
Yep.
that seeing someone with a reign where Roman from August to December hadn't lost anything. He didn't lose a single match. We were like, but this is Roman Reigns. This is Vince McMahon booking Roman Reigns. He's gonna lose eventually. And he just kept winning. So we were like,
Little we
oh,
know. Little did we
I
know.
bet. So
Which is
the
fair to
steel cage
assume. That's
match,
fair to assume that.
absolutely,
Absolutely.
absolutely. So the steel cage match happens, and then we get into January to lead up to the Royal Rumble. They have that epic #1 contenders gauntlet match that had like Daniel Bryan, Shinsuke Nakamura, I believe Baron Corbin was in there, Rey Mysterio was in there, someone else who I'm probably forgetting, and then Adam Pearce gets involved. And the bloodline comes, beats the fuck out of Shinsuke, beats up Adam Pearce, puts him on top of Shinsuke. Adam Pearce wins for like that for that 1 week. We saw that graphic of Roman versus Adam Pearce, and I was like, "Yo, I actually want to see this." Like,
We really thought we were getting that back. I remember that vividly. Like
I'm like,
people
"Yo,
genuinely thought it was happening.
I'm interested. Let's do it." When's the last time we saw a GM like get into a match, and especially like a GM who wasn't an active wrestler within the company prior to that? So I was like, "Yo, let's run it up." But Adam Pearce pulls off the elite card subject to change, feigns an injury. KO gets the match. It's a last man standing match, by the way. Then the last man standing match happens at Royal Rumble. Good match. We see Roman Reigns run over KO with a fucking golf cart. Um, and then he gets handcuffed to some pole, and it's like one of the most hilarious botches because they can't get the handcuffs off him. So the ref stops counting at 6. They just stops counting out of nowhere. We're like, what the fuck? Like the ref ain't even get knocked out, nothing. He just stops counting. They finally get Roman out the handcuffs. He puts KO in a guillotine and wins, and thus commences the long discussed hoeing of Kevin Owens. So if we were to go back to those fateful months, December 2020, January 2021, and rewrite the Kevin Owens chapter, which is so crucial to the future of the Bloodline story, which we'll come back around to 2 years later. But if we were to rewrite that, how would y'all do it?
I can go. I
Go
got
ahead.
a not a too crazy one. This is also personally my feelings about the Kevin Owens part of this story. Kind of like you were saying, I think this is when it kind of turned for me, where I kind of paid attention to like his adversaries. Like I think at first I thought like, oh, this could be part of a Kevin Owens story, or this might be a part of, a Jay story or a whoever story. But it's like after this, I'm like, oh, this is just a Roman Reigns story. Like this has nothing to do with these people he's facing. And I feel like part of me kind of not checked out of Kevin Owens, but like to me, he felt like more of a plot device. And kind of like you said, like the homing of Kevin Owens. And so that's kind of how I'm thinking about this part. And so part of it is also too, you have to realize in my story at this point, Roman doesn't really know who he can trust. He thinks he can trust Paul, but that's like it. He's like far more paranoid than he was in real life. And so after Survivor Series, Roman's back talking to Jay. He's like, I'm doing big things, but I really want, more gold. You need to get tag titles. So I want you to find a tag partner. Like, who on Team SmackDown do you think could be a good tag partner? Jay's like, I don't know. Kevin Owens is cool. Like, I respect him. Like, he did. Yeah, we lost Survivor Series, but he did a good job. Whatever. So Roman's like, cool. I'll step to him. If he acknowledges me, you guys get a tag title match. No problem. Roman goes to KO. He's like, hey, I respect you. You've done big things in NXT. I'm coming to you as a tribal chief, like, man to man. Jay needs a tag partner. Would you please be his tag partner? And Kevin's like, I don't know, like what's the catch? Like, where are you going with this? Like, yeah, you're a good champion, Roman, but like, why would I just randomly tag with Jay? He's like, because I'm asking you to, and I'm the tribal chief, and I need you to acknowledge me. And Kevin Owens stands up and he's like, Roman, I will never, ever, ever acknowledge you. And it's kind of like walks by him. Roman's like, all right, cool. And at this point, Jay comes back. He's like, when Jay's like in his like hyper goopy mode, and like he really gets on Roman's nerves back then. She's like, "What's good, bro? Like, what Kevin say?" And Roman was just like, "Not now, bro. Like, I don't want to talk about it. Not now." And so, later that night, Kevin Owens is having a match, and Roman Reigns and Jay will come out there and beat the dog shit out of Kevin Owens, like just stomp him out, chair shots, beating his ass, all that. And so after that, we basically have escalating attacks back and forth, which it starts out where KO and Jay are doing a classic like catering brawl where they're just messing shit up. Because I feel like Kevin Owens and Jay are both funny. So I feel like they could do a good like backstage brawl segment where they're like randomly interacting with people, fucking up shit. They have a good brawl like that. Paul Heyman gets involved. He tries to get Jay, like he gets Jay a match with Kevin Owens. And this is where we have the match where Kevin Owens beats the shit out of Jey Uso in the match. And that's when he does the cut promo on Roman being like, all right, you sent your dog to come and get me. Now you got to come get me. And then next week on Raw, Kevin's kind of storming around doing his like, where's Roman at? I need Roman. Roman kind of like, that's like a kind of running plot throughout SmackDown until eventually he cuts in the ring. He's like, where's Roman at? I need to see Roman. Roman's music hits. Roman comes out from the back, stomps Kevin out once again. This time he takes out a table, puts him through a table. And then Adam Pearce comes like, enough is enough. At TLC, we will have a TLC match for the Universal title. Match essentially goes the same with Jay continuing to help. But after this match, we have Roman Reigns Kevin Owens comes out on SmackDown to like cut a promo on Roman Reigns. He's like, you would not have beat me if Jay had not beat there. I had you beat. The only reason you won is because you low blow me off the ladder. Like I was gonna win the match. Like you owe me a match. And so we have him being like, I want a steel cage match, but a steel cage match doesn't actually happen because once again, but this time he like does a thing where you think, oh, this time Kevin's gonna win. Like he's gonna actually beat both of them. But then Roman like overwhelms him, chokes him out, and wins again. And so that's now Kevin Owens is like off TV, quote unquote. This time in the number one contenders match, the fatal four way with Daniel Bryan, Shinsuke Nakamura, Rey Mysterio, and Cesaro. Shout out to Cesaro. And in this match, while it's going on, Roman's in the back and he's like watching, but he's like agitated very clearly. And you're kind of worried about like, oh, like what's going on? What's wrong with Roman? And he's like, all of them are going to try and take this title from me, and I simply cannot have that. He's like, and then Jay's like, well, you gotta let the match play out. We'll just take out whoever it is. He's like, no, I'm taking them all out right now. And so Roman goes down. And this is when you finally see Roman, like, this is another thing I really wanted to. I wanted Roman to, like, really tweak out one good time so we could be like, oh, Roman's not to be dealt with. Because obviously he wins a lot of matches, but especially at the beginning when he was doing that guillotine choke more, it was like, oh, he's like overwhelming people. So Roman goes out and basically solos all four of them in the match. And one thing that's good about it too is that because you have Mysterio and Daniel Bryan to a certain extent, he can really toss them around and shit and look mad strong. And so he tosses them all out. He's like, none of you are good enough for this title. None of you are going to face me at Royal Rumble. Like, that's it. We're not having a match. Until you find me a worthy competitor, I'm done. Then you hear Kevin Owens music hits. Oh my God, Kevin Owens is back. Then we do the contract signing. So Adam Pearce doesn't get in the match because I thought that was a little too gimmicky for my storyline. But he does have the moment where he walks out and gives Kevin Owens the contract and Kevin Owens signs it because I thought that was a really cool spot. Unfortunately, the match again goes the same with Roman winning. But at the end of the match, Roman like goes up to Jay and he's like, thanks for having my back. Like, maybe like some bad stuff happened in the past, but I think we're gonna build the bloodline. And once Jimmy comes back, we're really gonna take over. And so he does that, goes back, and then you see later he's back with Paul in the room, and he's like, and Paul's like, how'd he take it? And he's like, oh, he's good. He's never gonna leave. And so what the implication is basically is that now Roman has fully aligned himself with Paul and is just using Jay as like a battering ram. And once he gives him like a little bit of approval, he knows he's got it wrapped around his finger. So that's my rewrite. Like I said, it's not too crazy, but I like the idea again of Roman finally tweaking and like people being like, oh, I'm scared of Roman. Because I think one thing that did get a little annoying towards the middle of the Roman thing, part of it's the length, but like it would be like Jay would come out, and then Jimmy would come out, and then Solo would come out. But all right, bro. Like at a certain point, like Roman, just win the match, bro. We gotta be all your cousins gotta help you win this fucking match. And I want Roman to be a bit more powerful before he gets to that point. There you
Valid. I fuck with it. Similarly, like there's not much that I want to change here. Again, with hindsight, looking back, like, Roman winning these matches the way he did made sense, especially in establishing Jay as a useful henchman. I think when you look at my rewrites from the last couple weeks, whether it was the match with Drew, Roman lost the match to Drew in my rewrite because of Jay trying to get involved. He didn't necessarily beat Jay clean, so he's and after the Drew match, he's like, yo, like Jay, you got to get together. Like, we have to keep this title within the family. I need to maintain my spot on the throne. And so in my rewrite, Jay really establishes himself as useful, which is what happened in real life. You go to the TLC match. Because also if you look back at that story, like Roman was whooping KO's ass, but like he there was also like a slight level of like I don't want to do these matches with him, like because KO was wild, KO was die lit, like this nigga jumped off of LED boards and was doing swantons. Like KO was really about it. He was with the shits. He was the most with the shits opponent Roman had seen throughout that reign, and it was early. So in the TLC match, that in my rewrite, like KO hits him with a pop-up power bomb through the announce table. Roman's down. KO's climbing up. Like he's about to get this title. And then Jay comes in, pulls him down, super kick, throws him out of the ring, picks up Roman, helps Roman climb up, and Roman wins. Because in real life, I think Jay hits him with a low blow. Roman hits him with the guillotine while he's on the ladder, and KO sinks down. But Jay really is like Jay essentially wins the match for Roman in my rewrite. And then we go to the steel cage match. The handcuffs. I'm gonna keep that as is because I don't know. I never liked steel cage matches when niggas would like get in the cage. Like I remember when I was a kid and like Mark Henry pulled the cage door off and got in the ring and slammed Batista. Pissed me off. Pissed me off. I ain't like it. I ain't like it at all. I understood it, but I ain't like it. So we continue on to January, which is Royal Rumble 2021, the lead up to the last man standing match. They still have that gauntlet match, but Jay's actually in the match. Um, and Roman's like, yeah, like I want you to get in there. I want you to soften up, whoever I'm gonna face, but you're not gonna get another match against me. So he kind of also suns Jay, and Jay looks a little frustrated by it, but he ends up accepting it because he knows the greater good is Roman being on top and keeping the family afloat. So when it comes time for Adam Pearce, Roman Reigns beats the fuck out of Adam Pearce, and he's like, all right, Jay, lay down. Jay lays down, Adam Pearce pins Jay, and then Adam Pearce has the match against Roman at Last Man Standing. But like because they beat his ass so much, Pierce is not faking an injury. Pierce is actually hurt. And he's like, I can't compete. And then like he's like, but I have figured out one more challenger. And Pierce is looking at Jay, and Jay is standing next to Roman, and Jay's like looking hyped. He's like, oh yeah, Uso, like me and you again. And Roman's looking at him like, I told you you're not getting another title match against me. Why are you getting so excited to try and take the throne from me? And Jay looks like a sad dog, kind of backs up. But Pierce is about to name him the fucking contender. KO comes out, beats the fuck out of Roman, beats the fuck out of Jay, puts Roman through a table again, puts Jay through the announce table. KO standing in the ring, like begging Pierce for one more match. And he's like, you know what? I like that better. So Roman KO last man standing match, Royal Rumble 2021. But this time, KO knows. He's like, all right, Jay helped him win the TLC match. Jay helped him win the steel cage match. I have to take Jay out before we get to Royal Rumble. So he asked Pierce for a street fight against Jay. Literally like the weekend leading into Royal Rumble. Beats the fuck out of Jay. Roman tries to come out. KO fights him off. Puts Jay through a table. Mad stunners. Just a bunch of shit, steel chairs, all that. So Jay is out. So Roman has to beat KO clean at the Royal Rumble. And he actually does it. Runs the nigga over with a golf cart. Throws him off the fucking Thunderdome LED shits, all that. Puts him out with the guillotine. Roman wins. Improves because I think kind of what Chan said. Like it's important for Roman to get some clean wins throughout this reign. Like when I really think back to it, the only people he beat clean was Cesaro, Bryan in one of those matches. I don't even think he beat Braun clean because he used that fucking low blow kick out shit. Like he didn't get too many clean ones, and it's okay because he's a powerful heel. Like expecting a heel to win clean all the time, it's kind of unrealistic. But it is important for Roman to get certain clean wins, and you can get away with it in a last man standing match. Like he doesn't need the interference there. He can just get it done by himself. So without Jay there, he beats KO. And of course, as we remember that same night, Edge won the Royal Rumble. And that's it's the precursor to the next chapter of my rewrite is he beats one Canadian, and then here comes another Canadian. So yeah, that's just what I got. Real simple.
Lined up the Canadians back to back. That's crazy. I like how you set that up with, especially with Jay being getting little brother for a second, because that sets up things like down the line. That's like probably my favorite part of that. So like much like both of y'all, like mine wasn't too much different from the original. So like I kept everything the same leading into that steel cage match. We even have like the same kind of finish or whatever, except for like post, after that, like you start to see KO get a little less like intense with his anger, and they're just like more focused with it, like a more direct stare kind of thing. Um but then that following week we still have or the week after the I think it's like day one or whatever. KO and Jey Uso had that match or whatever. that still goes the way it goes. And then we get to the week after that, and then we have that number one contenders match. We still get Shinsuke, Bryan, Corbin, Ray, and Adam Pierce, right? We still get Roman and Jay with that plan to, do what they did with Nakamura and Pierce. But the thing is like when Roman I'm sorry, what happens first is Jay actually super kicks Pierce first. And Roman's like upset with him because he's like, no, you gotta take Nakamura out first. Like he's the stronger one, like get him down and then we can put Pierce right on top of him, blah, blah, blah. So then like Roman's kind of yelling at him. So then like, Roman like turns around and gets hit with Kinshasa by by uh Nakamura, and he like rolls out or whatever. And at this point, like Jay's been like pushed out of the ring because like Roman was like, "What the what are you doing? What are you doing? Whatever." Like basically telling him to back off and don't like get involved anymore. So like Nakamura pins Pierce, and Jay just like basically kind of watches or whatever. He like almost like hesitates to get in the ring and like doesn't really do anything or whatever. And then like that becomes the thing where Roman sees that tape later and he starts to wonder like, okay, can I really trust him? Because last time in my re-rate, I was setting up how uh Roman was looking at people like he wanted to take him out, much like Shannon or whatever, but he was looking at Jay first, and he thought that by redirecting Jay's like anger and whatnot, he could get him focused on who he wanted to focus on. And now he's realizing like Jay's following my orders like a little too much than I wanted. Like I told him to do that exact thing and he did exactly that, instead of thinking like, wait, no, we shouldn't let him win or whatever. So he like Roman's starting to second guess himself, because I want this to be a big part of like why he starts to have a downfall, is because I felt like personally in the main story he was making mistakes, and now I'm gonna like give some reasons to that. So like this is like the start of him started to like mismanage the people in the bloodline. This is like one of his starts to that. But basically Nakamura pins Pierce. Roman's furious or whatever. He asked for a triple threat with Pierce, Jay, and Nakamura to like redo the contender. He's like literally telling Pierce to get it right this time or whatever. He's telling Jay and Pierce to get it right this time. And Pierce agrees, but he says he's still feeling injured from last week, so he hopes he can make it. And then like Roman's like sending Pierce on his way out because he just like gestures to open the door. But as like Pierce like gets close to the door and it's like walking out the doorway, Roman kind of steps in and he says him, and he's just like, stay healthy and whatever, and then he leaves or whatever. So then Pierce comes out after Uso and Nakamura already came out. He's in like gym gear or whatever. He looks even worse. Um, and then Roman's at like ringside to watch Jay. So like now you know how he like used to set it up in the ramp on like where the ramp is. He's got like a little bit of a different setup like near the table. He's just trying some stuff out or whatever. Um, but then like Pierce like falls down the ramp. You see like a freaking mic fall out of his hoodie, and then he says like he can't make it. He doesn't think he can make the match. Roman like asks for a mic or whatever, and he's like okay, like all right, it's cool that you can't make it, but we're gonna like need somebody to do this or whatever. He's like, Nakamura can't win because he's not family, so obviously he can't. Like, I'm not gonna allow him to beat Jay, and Jay can't win because he can't have another shot at this. And like Jay's like looking back at him, and they have like a little moment or whatever, and that's like again, is the start of him mismanaging or whatever. So then Roman's like, you know what? I don't want any of these two to win. But any other one of those people you got in the back or whatever, you know what? Throw one of those flunkies in the back in here. Go grab somebody from catering or something or whatever. I'll clean up whoever they are at the Rumble. I don't care who they are. I can sell anything. Um so then Pierce like kind of looks up and he's smiling. And he's like, as you wish, my tribal chief. And then KO's music hits. And then it's like KO, Jay, and Nakamura and a triple threat for the number one contender, like the redo. And then this shit is going crazy or whatever. Heyman tries to interfere to distract KO at one point, but then like Pierce intervenes. And then like Pierce, we see him like big up in Heyman, and it's just like, oh shit, Pierce is like really got this shit under control. Pierce turns around and gets Superman fucking punched right by Roman or whatever. He do not have this shit under control. So then like Roman goes in the ring because it's a triple threat, so he can do whatever he want. He tries to spear Nakamura, but Nakamura moves out the way and Roman hits Jay. And then Nakamura goes to the Kinshasa again on Roman, but Roman ducks this time, runs the ropes, and he finally catches that spear on Nakamura. He does his like celebration or whatever, but he forgot about one other person who was in the match. This ding, ding, ding. Guess what just happened? Boom, stunner by a KO or whatever. Jace tries to super kick him. KO ducks that, turns him around, stunner him, and pin him. And KO becomes the new #1 contender. So, like, um, we jump back into like the regular timeline after this, and everything that happens after happens. So like you get Roman with Pierce, KO coming to the rescue or whatever, and then eventually a man standing match. But I thought it would be a lot more interesting um to get the GM a little bit more like interestingly involved, and not only that, give KO one more chance to like look super duper fucking over going into this man standing match. Because I looked up what happened going into this last man standing match, and like the buildup was like building Roman up to like be hated so that you wanted KO to beat him. But I think it would have looked even better if it's like, oh shit, KO just stunner Roman Reigns, then stunner Jay and pin Jay for the second fucking time in a row or whatever. He's really gonna beat Roman. And like it really gets you to believe that that shit is gonna happen because he putting them down or whatever. And not only that, like I said, I always like to like get spin-offs, a little stuff with storylines or whatever. And eventually like Nakamura, this is like if I'm not mistaken, Nakamura is kind of a face like at this point, right? And then he kind of has like a heel run. This could be like the motivation for Nakamura being like, oh shit, like well I was being nice or whatever, and I had my title shot, but it got taken right from under me or whatever. Like I was just a piece of these guys like whole little story thing or whatever, and how he likes to attack people the same way he was coming after Cody or whatever, the same way he can cut them vignettes, whether it be the next year or years down the road, he could cut one on KO, being like, I was right there close to the championship, and then you came in and blah 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 blah. So yeah, that's just how I want to do it. Plus, like we get the beginning of the Mad Emperor Roman mismanaging the shit or whatever. So yeah.
Love it. Love it. Very elaborate as always, gentlemen. So next week we will be jumping into the Daniel Bryan chapter or Bryan Danielson chapter. We've already figured out a title for this, the last train to Jacksonville, because it involves two current AEW superstars. The other one I'm talking about is Adam Copeland, aka Edge. We'll be getting into the Royal Rumble aftermath of Edge winning and kind of teasing, who he's going to pick, the Elimination Chamber that Daniel Bryan ended up winning, the Fastlane match, and then, of course, the infamous WrestleMania 37. Smash them, stack them, pin them, 1, 2, 3. So looking forward to what we're going to discuss next week. Hope you all enjoyed the rewrites. Of course, as always, if you're in the Discord, let us know your thoughts on the rewrites there. Let us know your thoughts on Twitter as well. But let's get into our pre-writes for the week. I'm gonna kick it off this week. So gentlemen, we're all way past post-grad, living in apartments or homes and all that. And I know one great thing that I discovered over the last couple of years is the splendor of having an air fryer. You use your oven, you grow up using your microwave, and I think they all have their place. If you're making like a fucking Hungry Man or a frozen pizza, you want to use the oven. So it's cooked thoroughly, it's cooked with time and patience and love. But sometimes you want that hot pocket, you're gonna toss that in the microwave, you're gonna slice that joint in half, and you're gonna have a blast with that joint. But the air fryer kind of sits in the middle of things. It's not necessarily, it doesn't take the time of an oven, but it's not as quick as a microwave. They all have their different functions, and they all produce a good product for what you're looking for in that time. And I think having a fully decked out kitchen with an oven, an air fryer, a microwave, if you want to even throw in a toaster oven, if you want to throw in a crock pot, like there's all these different things. I think it's a perfect parallel and analogy, even a simile to the WWE currently. If you look at a guy like Roman Reigns, debuted as a heel in the Shield, heel breaks up, he goes face. Vince tries his best. Roman was super over, but the stories and all that just weren't great. He goes away in 2020, comes back as a heel. He's one of the greatest heel characters we've ever seen in real life. He's been in the crock pot within the WWE for like 14 years, to the point where after losing at WrestleMania, and everyone wanted him to losing at WrestleMania, going away for, what was it, 4 months? Solo Sikoa taking over, the Bloodline chapter, going the way it did. You realize Roman was babyfaced without being on TV these last 4 months. Like they put in so much equity with him over these last 14 years and made him such a vile but great heel that people cheered while he was on that heel run over the last 4 years, that he was able to be babyfaced without being on TV, to the point where he just shows up at SummerSlam. He could have done nothing. Like his music just playing and him standing there was enough. People went ballistic for him, but he comes in, obviously Superman punches Solo, spears Solo, Cody wins. That's a crock pot right there. If we want to take it to the microwave, Bronson Reed over these last couple weeks. But Bronson is someone who they really took the time to build a foundation for with his theme song, the graphic that plays before it, that's cool to me. It's really cool. The camera angles where it comes up behind him makes him look really just imposing. The like making the tsunami such a strong finisher, keeping him in these important matches, whether it's IC title contention, whether it's facing off against people, even if he's losing, they establish that foundation to where when he steps up and beats up a guy like Seth Rollins and murders him with 6 tsunamis, it's immediate heat. He's immediately one of the most like compelling heels on TV. And it was like the fans didn't really care about him prior to that. Like, I'm a fan. I fuck with Bronson. I have fucked with Bronson. But admittedly, the fans weren't really fucking with him like that. But they heated him up just like that. Just like that. And you got to give a lot of credit to Seth Rollins, Seth being as popular as he is. Someone beating up Seth Rollins like that, it's going to be like, yo, fuck that guy. What the hell? But microwave. If you want to look at something like the air fryer, it's a little tougher to kind of find an example there, because I think all of these characters who are so important right now on Raw, which is like all of them, with the exception of the Pure Fusion Collective, like they've invested so much time into all of them, whether it's long-term, whether it's short-term. Like you look at the Alpha Academy, Chad and Otis were teaming for 4 years. Like them niggas got together in 2020, won the tag titles in 2022, got them back. Well, no, they never got them back. They lost them, but like they were so relevant to the point where they were kind of able to turn face without it being like a big thing. It just like happened. And it was just like, yes, like we fuck with the thank you. We fuck with the shush shit. Like they had Alpha Academy in the oven, and now it can spill off into American Made, but you still care about Alpha Academy. It's Otis Tozawa and Maxine Dupree. Their combined rating on 2K is probably like a 71. But you care so much about all 3 of those characters. They're entertaining, they're humorous, they're attractive. Like it just works. It looked like you were about to say something for the air fryer example, Chan. I didn't want to cut you. I just wanted to finish
No,
my
you're
thought.
good. You're on the roll, bro. Well, first and foremost, don't do pure fusion like that. Like they didn't deserve that. They're getting piled on right now. You didn't have to do that.
And
But
I mean, like I spent our last episode saying, well, why they're here, why they matter, how they're gonna work. But that name
it's
that name
truly
sucks.
an awful name. It's
It
like
sucks.
feels very 2000s video game. Like it would be the name of like a Star Fox level.
Mhm.
But I think an air fryer would be like a Braun Breaker, where like he was in NXT. It developed, but it was like pretty immediately he was like clearly one of the 3 best people here. It wasn't like he was grinding in NXT and won the North American title and then tagged. It was like he's the champ. And even on the main roster, it was like it took a little time, but it was very clear. Like no, once he gets a title match, he's getting that title. Like that's not a question. And I think that's a great example of like you can build it, like he did the thing with a Kaiser where he was running around the ring. Like you had a couple build, but it wasn't like oh man, for a year we're really cooking it in the oven.
Yeah.
But it also wasn't like this is his first match and he's winning like he's Carlito or some shit.
That's a great point. That's a great point. Yeah, I love that. He's like fucking like meat that you get from the deli, where like you could put it on a sandwich already, but
and it'd be good.
Like in case you want some fried bologna or something, you could cook that up too, and then make it even better.
Exactly.
Yeah. So all of that to say, they're just operating on a different level. You know, I've been one of the people who has fought people who look at the Attitude Era with rose colored lenses. I saw J5 today say like we're in the second Attitude Era, and it's like, you know, as much as I love the whole Renaissance era label, given the way that the Attitude Era is described and what I've seen, like that's what it feels like. If you look at the storylines, you look at the amount of over acts, you add in the great in ring, the layered storytelling, the long term storytelling, the different things that it spills out into, like the pop culture connections, the way that like this shit is popping up on the pop base account on Twitter, and like New York Post is writing shitty articles about what's going on, like all these publications that weren't writing about wrestling before is doing it. Like it's just insane, but it's truly a credit to the work that is happening internally, the investment, the equity that is being given to every single thing that happens on, like, bro, I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago. There used to be moments on SmackDown and Raw where it's like, all right, I'm gonna get some food. I'm about to go to the
Moments.
bathroom. Yeah. I'm about to pull my
Hours,
phone
dog.
out. Like
Yeah,
you
bro.
know, like it was what it was, but you still stuck through it. Now it's like, oh shit, there's this match between Street Profits and Pretty Deadly happening. Like, that's cool. That's something I'm invested in. Or whoever Profits faced. It was Theory and Waller. Oh shit, but DIY versus Pretty Deadly. I want to see that too. Oh shit, wait, Jade has a match against Alba Fire. Even if it's 3 minutes, I'm tapped in. Oh shit, wait, Cody promo. Like everything has some type of level of interest for you. Like even if you're not the hugest fan of someone, there's something going on that is worth watching, and they're able to just build it in a variety of ways at different levels. So the WWE's kitchen is fully fucking stocked right now.
Well, product is high. I agree. Kind of speaking similarly along those lines, we had the debut of the Wyatt Six. And I love spooky shit, so I was tapped in. And it was a cool match. Like it was, I think, as they know, the entrance goes hard, so you got to lean into the entrance heavy. I like the quick brawl. They had some cool tag moves. Not disappointed at all. But what I do think, and they still haven't had Bo in a match. So I don't know how they're gonna play that one. But from what I saw again in that one match, and kind of from what they've done in the past, I think Rowan is good in terms of like the powerhouse and like there's the nostalgia stuff you can do that I think plays. But I actually think Dexter Loomis is who they should lead with in terms of those three. Because I think one, it was kind of funny the like human weapon, they're like power bombing him into people and shit. But I think there was like a moment where you just saw him like standing in the ring. You're like, he's really the only one I can see with any kind of title. And I think even the not talking thing, like I think you can actually kind of work with that if you have people just basically talk for him, which you do. But there was something about seeing him with those six. And I'm like, yeah, I think he's not Uncle Howdy, but I think he might be the one where not that he breaks away, but like if you start having singles matches with them, I'd be interested to see what a Dexter Loomis, you know, IC title feud would look like. Because kind of similar to someone like Kaiser, when you gave him the shot, I was like, okay, I can see this. It's like, I think Loomis has a bit of that. And again, someone on Twitter said he had boneless dreads, and that is very fucking funny. But I think outside of that, the look is just, it's like, it's a little Rob Zombie-ish. And for whatever reason, I think it kind of worked for him. And I could see him doing more. I don't know. Gacy still don't I still don't feel it. Like I know he does cool stuff in the ring, but I just don't feel it for whatever reason. And like I said, I think there's only so far you're gonna go with Rowan. I think Rowan's a tag wrestler at his best. And so I could see Loomis being a little bit of the brick out. That's all I wanted to say.
I'm not I'm not mad at that. I was just so amazed at the combination of guys they had in the ring, and seeing the crowd was cheering for Rowan, bro.
Rowan
Like
and Gable.
we got "We Want Rowan" chants.
Damn it.
Like, was whose bingo card was that on?
Main
Like,
eventing.
well, what were the FanDuel odds for getting a "We Want Rowan" chant? Probably like plus 10,000.
Bro, do you remember the Bludgeon Brothers?
Yes. it
Bro,
was
it got dark.
it was like it almost felt disrespectful to us.
The hammers were disrespectful. It was like, bro, stop playing in our faces
And it was like I really wanted to like it because I really
so badly.
loved Luke Harper, like loved Luke Harper,
Yes.
and it just didn't it didn't hit. It didn't hit, but yeah, man, like I can see it going a couple of ways. I hope that you're coming around on Gacy because I think like he's the best worker out of all of them. Um, but Loomis is great too, man. Like
I
I can
don't
definitely see it
dislike
for him.
Gacy. It's just something about it has not hit for me. But I will say I like this better than Schism. I think Schism got a little silly towards the end, but
Yeah.
I do like his thing. Like I said, I like scary, spooky stuff. But
Mhm.
it's just for whatever reason I haven't had the feud or the match. I think it's kind of like one of those things where I feel like he hasn't really won big yet, and I feel like that may be part of it too. But I don't know. I was like not overwhelmed by Wyatt Six, but I was whelmed. And I'm kind of worried if I'm being honest. I'm kind of worried they're gonna mess it up. And so like for them to like stick the landing, I was like, okay, that was cool. We can build off this. We can do something with
Mhm.
this. I see where this can go.
Mhm.
Because like you said, with the Bludgeon Brothers, when they did a Wyatt spinoff, it was like, oh, this is so bad. Like, don't ever try and do a Wyatt spinoff ever again. So it was a part of me, if I'm being honest, that was worried. But you think about it too, Gabe was a good worker. The Creed brothers are pretty good. Like they're in the ring with like not bad people, but I was whelmed by the Creed brother. I mean by the Wyatt Six. So good for them.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think whelmed is a perfect way to describe it. Go ahead, Armin.
absolutely. Yeah, no, I was gonna say real quick. I think they're killing it so far with the Wyatt Six, and like I didn't
Oh
want to
yes,
see
the
it.
presentation as a whole. I was worried about just the
Yeah.
in ring because at the
Oh,
end of the day,
absolutely,
it's
for
like
sure.
this is a Eric Rowan match, a Dexter Loomis match, and then show like it's not like it's Randy Orton and
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt. I was like, okay, what's about to happen
Yeah.
when they actually have to wrestle? That's what I was saying.
Yeah. And they're not going to be able to face Gable and the Creeds the entire time. So it's crucial who they spill out to next and face off
Exactly.
against next and how the story is told and how present they are, because I think just them, just appearing on TV and jumping people, that'll get old eventually. But they can't wrestle too much either. So it's like, how do you find that good balance? Who do you have them in storylines with that will be able to keep it as interesting as it's been? Utilize the alter egos and the real characters, and give enough in ring that stays compelling. So completely agree with you there.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy that I can see Loomis ending up being like that breakout kind of star when I saw him in the ring, I was like, this looks totally different. He's exploding like coming off the ropes and shit. Like I'm like, wow, this is crazy. But yeah, like you guys kind of both hit on it talking about the show. Um especially like that quote earlier talking about how there'd be certain times certain amounts of times you take a break or whatever. My pre-write is kind of in that same wheelhouse when it comes to what they've done with the show, the different decisions that they made. But this one particularly has to do, and it's funny that we brought up Loomis already because he was involved in one of these a while ago. But like love stories. Um, I think, especially after seeing last night's Raw, um, one of the things that I really appreciate about this time in the E, especially as we talked about it being like, a rebirth of the Attitude Era, and the Attitude and Ruthless Aggression era is like most of the love stories are either like weird or like kind of like just overblown or whatever. It's just like what is happening, kind of, or whatever. If you look
Very
back, you
horny.
might cringe. But
Yeah.
like I'm looking at it now, and I hope it's not rose colored glasses or whatever. And hopefully hindsight has the same vision that I have now. But I'm looking at it now and I'm like, the way that they've done all of the love stories, from the quote unquote most raunchy ones to the more innocent, cutesy ones or whatever, are all palatable. It's all like not weird, and it's just so good to like not watch like any weird lovey things going on, even with Ashante being like a creep or whatever. Like it doesn't feel like weird. It's like it's like it's not funny. It's not funny in a way where it's like, oh my gosh, they don't know that he put something in their drink. Haha. Like which used to be like for some people comedy. You know what I mean? This is
Mhm.
like, oh my God, this nigga trying to get over, blah, blah, whatever. Like nobody thinks anything weird is gonna happen. So like, from that all the way to, Dom and Rhea, whatever, like even on online or whatever, like Liv just kind of like responded to Rhea's thing, what she
It
said
wasn't no
about
kind
Dom,
of
whatever.
response, bro. She ethered Zelina, bro.
And Zelina, yeah. So like when you look at that, it's just
Yeah,
like
bro.
when you look at how like they're executing all that, I just love how like they don't make I don't feel like the wrestlers feel weird because I used to feel that as a kid, bro. Like as a kid, I used to be like, I don't feel like she want to do that. I don't think
That
she
was
want to
the
do that.
storyline for a lot of Vince storyline, bro. It got weird, bro. That was
So
the plot. It's like I don't think Trish likes this. Like
yeah.
that was the point.
Yeah, so it went from that to like now, if anything, the women is like a lot more turned up with it, and the guys are like, oh shit, okay, like all right, like all right, like especially like when I look at like a Tez and a Bianca, a Becky and Seth or whatever, like you're gonna get them going crazy before you get like the guys mentioning anything about it. They're gonna try to keep it quiet and cool or whatever. Like the women have a lot more voice, and they seem like they have a lot more voice in the story, which I guess is like probably my overall point is that everyone really has like a voice in their story and they're not really forced to like do anything against like their regular person, like human dignity in any weird way, just to get off like a love story of being like, oh, this person is into this person, but like the reason why they're into them is weird anyway. It's like he had that old man had them like doing weird shit just to get off like a weird point in the first place where you could have just been like, why don't you just have this person have a crush on that person? You know what I mean? Like we don't need to do all this extra shit. So I love that they doing that these days or whatever. So you don't have kids growing up seeing the weird shit I saw. The very first house show that I went to from the WWE, I saw too Cool, which at the time was called Too Sexy, I believe. Um, they
Jeez.
one of them got ran into the ropes, like or whatever. He's in a turnbuckle, and somebody threw the other one in the ropes, and the other one like fell. The second one who fell in the ropes, like fell in front of him, so that it looked like the other one was gonna like be behind him. And it's like Vince asked him to do that. It's like, come on, man. So like, so that you don't have a future 30-something-year-old scarred with that memory. Thank you, Triple H, that you're not doing that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think part of that, especially with the Ashanti stuff, is because they down there at NXT, like they getting it down for real. So
Yeah,
he might just
NXT
be
is like
he
college
might
for
just be
real.
pulling up for real. Like they might not think it's weird because he's for real.
Yeah.
I think too, it's like you were saying, bro. There was like we were watching wrestling as kids. There are bra and panties matches like often. Like just that was the point of the match.
Bro, I
Yeah.
saw Ivory and I saw Jacqueline, and in my
Terrible
head,
fight.
I went, "Oh, those are women who work out a lot and are really fucking strong." And then I was like, "Why are they in bikinis?"
It's like, bro, we just had a fucking hardcore title match. Why are there now two women getting naked in the ring? It was just like such a hard shift sometimes. You'd be like, and now they're mud wrestling for what?
The the
Like,
the first PLE I ever ordered was WrestleMania 20. They had a Playboy evening gown match.
that's
I think it was
tough.
like Tori Wilson and Stacy Keibler against Dawn Marie and someone. And obviously, as a little kid, you're like, "Ooh, yeah!" But look,
Puppies.
but it's like it's nuts, man. It's nuts.
It's
It's mad
crazy,
nuts.
bro.
Yeah,
That's
it's crazy.
insane
It's like I
that they
shouldn't
put
be
that on
watching
TV.
this.
It's crazy. And to your point, lastly, I'm sorry. Um, the last time I felt really weirded out by on-screen romance, and this is more so a me thing, I think, was the whole Aaliyah Buddy Murphy thing.
Oh yeah, I didn't like that.
That never sat right with me. I don't know what was going on there. I don't even know. I don't even remember what that. I don't think it ended up even being anything. But I just remember being like, I don't like that she's now into this because she's not even really a wrestler. I don't think. Like, I didn't like that at all. That was like, and that was, I think, definitely during Vince's tenure. But I just remember very vividly, even as an adult, being like, this feels very
It, it
gross.
it was a really weird wrinkle in the story. Like they made it make sense in that,
Yeah.
Seth and Buddy terrorized the Mysterios. Buddy started to feel some sympathy and ended up connecting with Aaliyah, but it was like, you didn't need to do this. Like, you know, like he's beating up a Hall of Famer. You can just feel guilty and be like, yo, like I grew up watching you. I have a lot of respect for you. Like you don't really need to throw the daughter angle into it. So yeah, I totally felt you there.
Yeah, bro. And she just like disappeared. Like it wasn't like she then went to NXT and like became a wrestler. It was like,
Yeah.
nah, she was just in it for Buddy Murphy. Like that
Yeah,
was the whole
like
point of this.
yeah. It's man. Vince is
Nutty,
something.
bro. Nutty
Vince was
stuff.
something. But yeah, so that is our free episode for all of you losers who don't. Nah, y'all are cool. But for all you people who don't want to pay for the content, that is our free rewriters episode. We'll be jumping on the Patreon to jump into our free write. And boy, do I have a lot of questions, comments, and concerns that I would like to tackle with the gentleman. So if you are not a subscriber to the A Show RNC, patreon.com/ the A Show RNC, subscribe, tap in, and you will be able to hear our full unfiltered free write discussion. But for those who are signing off now, thank you for tapping in, enjoying another episode of our all bloodline, all season rewrites. We are the men with the pen, and we will holla at you next episode.